You know, I wanted to start this show off with this. Guys, too many of us and too many people in general just have a victim mentality. And I want for us to just think about if we are in that sort of a mindset when we approach certain things. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to use an example of our brother Cam Newton, who played in the NFL for a very long time. And he now is coming up with a whole bunch of stuff about why he isn't in the NFL today. I'm a big fan of Cam Newton, was a big fan of Cam Newton. I'm a big fan of the Carolina Panthers. But I want to use that article for us to just unwrap the mindset of why certain things happen in life and if we are having a victim mentality towards it or not, right? Even in our careers, right? And we're talking about Cam Newton, and this is his career that we're going to be talking about today. We're also going to be hitting on tech sales, how to get in cybersecurity, 10 most important skills. We're going to hit on those topics today, guys. It's going to be a relatively quick show. I got to say this, I'm ill prepared, but those are the days. Sometimes they're your best shows tend to be. But let's start off with our brother Cam Newton, man. We're going to start it off with our man Cam Newton. You guys may not know who Cam Newton is, but Cam Newton is a retired football player at this point in time. I don't think he retired as in officially said that he was going to retire, but he's retired. You guys look at the thumbnail that I have out there right now and look at my dreads. Look at Cam Newton right here. It's a picture of him. And what Cam Newton is basically saying is that he's not in the NFL because of his dreadlocks, man. Cam Newton is saying that he is not in the NFL today because his dreadlocks. I want you to think about this. Ponder if Cam Newton is in the NFL because of, or not in the NFL because of his dreadlocks. That's what this article is saying that Cam is saying. You know, Cam Newton was a 2015 MVP. Took my Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl that year to play against Denver. And Cam just had a miraculous season, crushing everybody, doing this little Superman pose, you know, doing the whatever his dance he used to do. Even he did the John Cena, you can't see me, diving over the goal line, the pals, and doing flips and all kind of stuff, right? Mushing people, stiff arming them, doing his little dances, all this stuff, right? Crushed it. 2015 year. Took us to the Super Bowl, got in the Super Bowl. And Cam started off the game pretty well. Then he took a nasty hit. I don't know who hit him. Whether it was Von Miller or somebody who just gave him a nasty shot. And ever since he took that shot, I don't think Cam has been the same since. Obviously, we know it's a build-up, cumulative, beat down, all this other stuff. But I don't think he's been the same since. He later left Carolina, went to the Patriots. You know, Bill Belichick is a coach that typically give people many opportunities. Went to the Patriots and was god darn awful there as well, too. Cam, last year and the year before when he was out, said the reason why he wasn't playing was because his arm. He had to have shoulder surgery. Went and got that done. You know, went to Auburn's practice this year to throw the ball. Cam Newton is still not in the NFL. And he says it's because of his dreads. It's because of his dreads. You guys know there's a lot of people in the NFL that have dreads. A lot of the defensive players have dreads. Quarterbacks, I don't know if any quarterbacks have dreads, but nonetheless, there are very unique quarterbacks in the NFL. A good majority of the NFL quarterbacks now are black, unlike it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and so forth. I remember growing up when there was a time there weren't any black quarterbacks, right? And people would say, you know, black people can't play that position and all this other stuff, right? Now you see a good amount of quarterbacks in the NFL are black. And you see a lot of, you know, skill positions and so forth. But Cam Newton is basically saying that his dreadlocks is the reason why he's not in the NFL, because he grew out his hair. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? And let's just say that's the case, okay? Well, if his dreadlocks are the problem and he wants a job, what do? Do you cut your dreadlocks to get that job? Do you put on a suit to get that job? Do you conform to what people want to get that job? Ask yourself that question. Cam Newton is saying he's at that point in his life where he is embracing who he is. And the dreadlocks is part of who he is. And people are saying that they want the clean cut Cam back. That's what he's saying. But he's saying, you know what? I'm going to embrace who I am, and the dreads are part of me. What do you guys think about this? And I want you to think about this in your career, because many people will say something like this. Hey, you know what? I can't get into tech sales because I have dreads. Or I can't get into cybersecurity because they don't want me in cybersecurity because how I look. I have long hair. I choose to not to wear suits. I choose not to be the example of what the example is. Now, I say this. We all know how this world works and workforce works, right? You can do pretty much anything you want when you are a star player and a superstar. What Cam is failing to realize right now is that he's no longer a superstar. He's no longer a good quarterback. And now his excuse is that they don't want me in because of my dreads. He's not going to say that, guys, I'm an inaccurate passer. My passer rating is probably one of the worst in the league. And I've demonstrated that by playing for the Carolina Panthers and playing for the New England Patriots. When I've been given multiple opportunities to go and play, I've demonstrated that I'm not that good anymore. But now he's going to twist it around and say they aren't hiring him because of his hair. If you were really good, your hair wouldn't matter. They would look past that. Anybody would look past that. If you're really good in sales or any other position that's out there, and you want it to dress the way you want it to dress, or wear your hair the way you want it to wear it. You can do that, especially if it's your own. But when you're talking about doing what you want to do in somebody else's house, you got to follow the rules there, guys. And I'm not saying the rules are always right, because we already know that people bend the rules all the time. The people who bend the rules are the people who are high performers. They are allowed to get away with certain things. But if you are not good at what you do, you got to follow the rules, guys. You got to follow the rules. So in this instance, for Cam Newton, if he thinks that his dreads is what's causing him to not be in the league at this point in time, what do? I would just shut up, or I would cut my hair. I would cut my hair. If I needed to be in the NFL, and I wanted to be in the NFL, and I knew that my dreads was causing a problem because I've spoken to people and so forth, and it was like, nah, they don't want to bring you in because you don't have that image of what we think a quarterback is. If you look at Lamar Jackson, if you look at Jalen Hurts, you look at any other quarterback out there, you don't represent what those guys represent. What do? Do you cut your hair to be the representation? Do you say, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to cut my hair, but I still want into your house? It's almost like, I don't get it sometimes. When you live under other people's roofs, I think about it like when I was growing up. I lived with my mom. There are rules that you have to follow, right? All right, well, if you're going to live in this house, you have to be home at 8 o'clock at night. You got to share a room with your brother. You have to do chores. You have to contribute. You have to work. Okay, great. I understand the rules because I'm under your house. All right. NFL has rules as well, too. Let's just say they came out and said, you know what? Quarterbacks have to have a clean haircut. In order for you to be a quarterback or play in the NFL, you can't have dreads. Say they came up with that rule. It's their house. They can come up with that rule. If you want to be in that house, you have to follow the rules. And sometimes rules aren't as clear. But if you think that's the rule, then you follow them or you shut up. Do your own thing. In this situation, if Cam wants to be in the NFL and he thinks this hair is the issue, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this as well. If he wanted to be in the NFL, he thought his hair was the issue. If you want to make millions of dollars a year, man, you can grow your hair back at any point in time, Cam, when you retire, when you're done with this. Cut it off. You can have it sewn back on later and whatever it is. But I don't think that's the issue, though. I don't think that's the issue. He's using and he's having a victim mentality here. I can't do something because of my hair. I can't do something because I'm too big. I can't do something because I'm a girl. I can't do something because I'm a darker shade of gray. Stop it. Stop it. We know the rules. We know the rules of the game. You go in people's house, you have to understand the rules of the game. If you want to be in that house, you have to follow those rules. And if when you are really good in that house and you become dominant and it's your house, then your own rules apply. Your own rules apply. No different than any other career that exists out there. You want to break into sales. Let's talk about sales now. Okay, let's get off Cam Newton. You want to break into sales. You understand that salespeople are clean-cut professionals. They communicate well. They learn how to build relationships. They present. If you want to break into sales, you have to get better at those things. If you want to break into cybersecurity, you have to be pretty technical. You have to know SQL. You have to know a little bit about the cloud. If you want to break into these spaces, you have to know these things, and you have to follow the rules that the people have for these spaces. You can't just say, hey, you know what? I'm 500 pounds. I want to get into tech sales. Well, you can't walk without getting tired. Follow the rules. Let's stop with this whole mentality of somebody's going to stop me from doing something. If somebody's stopping you from doing something, it's probably your own fault. Either you figure it out how to go around them, you create your own, or you don't talk about it. I think about Cam Newton here, and I'm just like, come on, man. You've been in the league for years, and now you're going to say that your hair is the reason why you're not in the league today. Your hair. Come on, man. That's the same excuse that some of you guys have. That's the same excuse that some of you guys have. I can't get into the cybersecurity space because there's no black people in it. I can't get into the cybersecurity space because there's no white people in it. I can't get into tech sales because there's, no Indian people in it. No, I can't get into tech sales because there's no Asian people in it. Come on, man. You can get into all of these spaces by either following the rules, breaking the rules, or creating your own. You create your own, you can do whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. At least that's the rules that I live by. Cam Newton wanted to start his own league or his own team or whatever it is. Do what he wants to do. You don't have to watch. That doesn't have to worry about anybody else. For yourself as well, too. You want to get into tech sales and you want to have, 5 different girlfriends and whatever it is, and embarrass yourself and embarrass your family. Do it on your own. Because a lot of people aren't going to hire you because you're going to be an embarrassment. A lot of people aren't going to hire you because you aren't consistent. A lot of people aren't going to hire you because you aren't dependable. You don't make the right decisions. People fail to put the mirror back on themselves. Just like Cam is doing. They failed to put the mirror back on themselves. I'm just a bad pastor. I'm just a distraction. I'm not that good. Instead, they want to say, nah, they don't want to let me in. I don't want to. And also, instead, they don't want to say, I don't want to put in the work.